So we go again. I probably have like another 2 resets in me. I might try to make one of these a no reset run. We'll see. I also do really want to make a commentary video so that I can submit this to marathons and stuff. I don't have a good commentary video. Maybe I just do this right now. Maybe. I'll think about it. Elite Four, we use Starmie as well. Starmie on Route 21 is caught at level 43, and by the time we enter the Elite Four, it will be 51, and that's all we need to get through it. By the end of the game, Starmie will be at level 53 to 54, depending. But that's all we need to get through the game. Also, I try to avoid picking Boy 1 if possible. Just personal preference. Anything's better than basic Boy 1. Yeah, Starmie is like just a really solid Pokemon overall. It has great type coverage in Water and Psychic. It hits offensively like really well. It also learns like other type moves, like Thunderbolt, Blizzard, things like that. Yes, there are no dark types in this game, thankfully. Good point, Sil. And X items are very, very broken. More broken in this game than in like any other game, just due to the cost benefit. Yeah, starting, I forget if it's like Gen 7, Gen 8. This is like technically a Gen 7 game. But I think in like Sun and Moon, it was either X items got everything is more fun with a friend. Yeah, X items are really cheap in this game. They have like the Gen 1 through 6 pricing of like 500 Poké-Dollars per X item, give or take. And then starting in like Gen 8 or something, they up it to like 1,000, 2,000, depending on the X item. And in Gen 6, X items raise like attack, for example, by 1 stage. In this game, they raise it by 2 stages. So you're basically getting like more bang for your buck for every X item that you use. And it's really, really convenient. Hello, Pika. Please be a good nature. What do I also speedrun? Mostly the Switch Pokemon games. I started out with Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, which is a mistake. Do not start with those games. I mostly started with those because it was like the closest to a traditional Pokemon speedrun that I was familiar with watching, and so I decided to pick that up. It's a very technical speedrun in terms of like experience management, which is why I would not recommend that to start. Speedrun this game, just Pikachu. I don't own Eevee. And then I also speedrun the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet series of games. Not the any percent category because that's too long for my liking, but I've done all of the single stories. So like the ones featuring like Arven, Penny, Nemona, Path of Legends, Starfall Street, Victory Road, and I've also done the Teal Mask DLC as well. I've also spedrun? Sure. We'll say that's a word. I've spedrun Super Mario RPG, both the original and the remake. That is my favorite game of all time. This is my favorite speedrun of all time, but I have played that game since I was like 6. Lonely Mischievous. Something something rich get richer. Lonely is a nature that raises your attack stat and lowers your defense stat by 10% each, and we want as much attack as we can get. Mischievous. I'll take this time to explain about AVs. Honestly, this could make for a really good commentary thing. This is a very good Pikachu. So not only will it have higher attack than normal, it has a chance of having higher special attack than normal. So characteristics in Pokemon are a determining factor. Well, it's not the determining factor. They tell you what your highest stat is. Normally in Pokemon games, like, yeah, you'll have different sort of like lines that hints you what your highest stat is out of like all 6 of your stats between HP, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed. Because this Pikachu has 31 IVs already, all of its stats are equal. So the role that the characteristic line plays is that it tells you which stat specifically has a chance to get more AVs or waking values as usual. If you're familiar, like if you have a slight familiarity with the game, you'll know that every level that you get +1 to like a quote-unquote random stat. That stat that you gain a point in is not actually random. It's like pseudo-random. So what's the best way to explain this? So say that you have an 8-sided die. 6 of those sides will be taken up with HP through speed, those 6 stat lines. 2 of them are taken up by your characteristic. In this case, Mischievous corresponds to special attack. The other caveat is that your negative stat, so Lonely being plus attack minus defense, your negative stat will never get rolled, essentially, unless you have a characteristic in that stat. So basically, I can roll AVs in HP, attack, special attack with a weight towards special attack, special defense, and speed. And I think attack also gets doubly weighted because it takes the side of the die that defense would have taken. So I have like a 1 and 8 to get HP, a 2 and 8 to get attack, a 3 and 8 to get special attack, and then 1 and 8 for special defense and speed. Yeah, exactly what Sandy said. So this is a very, very good Pikachu, because we need to make use of both Pikachu's attack stat and special attack stat throughout the game. Primarily in the early game, we'll be relying a lot on Pikachu's attack stat, and primarily in the mid to late game, we'll be relying on Pikachu's special attack stat, because it knows Thunderbolts. Yeah, more or less. You just get, like, a couple additional chances for the stat that gets rolled in the characteristic and in the nature. Yeah, so you'll see on this fight, specifically, so youngster Ronnie has a Rattata. We got 32 experience points off the Eevee. For whatever reason, Pikachu will level up on this fight, assuming that's all you do, which is KO the Eevee and the Rattata. Eevee will not level on this fight by 1 experience point, whether that's just a facet of it needing 1 more experience point or it not getting another experience point that it needs. So as you see, that one went into special attack. There was a 3 and 8 chance for me to roll a special attack AV. The other thing with AVs is that they are on a 10 level cycle. So you'll notice I leveled up to 6 there, and I got a special attack AV, so +1 to special attack at level 6. At level 16, I will get another special attack AV. At level 26, I will get another special attack AV. It always goes by 10s, essentially. So there's a tool that one of the fellow community members, Spider C, made, where you can track your... There's like an online tool that you can use to track your AVs. I also have a spreadsheet that I use. Shoutouts to Etiquette. That I use to track my AVs. So even though... So you can see your stats level up in battle, and that's usually how speedrunners will track their stats and narrow down their IVs. Because a lot of leveling is done outside of battle, like you'll do catches, you'll get a lot of levels outside of battle, you may not always see when your stats are at any given point. And so, pretty much, like, if you know your AV cycle, you can kind of predict roughly where your stats will lie, even if you haven't seen a level up recently. So, like, I could go to level 12, for example, and, like, maybe, like, not have seen my stats for 3 levels, because I know Pikachu learns Double Kick at level 9, and that's when I'll be able to see the stat line. I will roughly know where my stat line is, just based off of the stats I have seen before. Some people track their AVs, some people don't. I do just because I like numbers, and I like knowing precise values for later fights, because lots of fights in Pokemon, like, ranges are a thing, and it's always good to know, like, what the best possible outcome is given your stat line. I guess one thing about ranges, so the Pokemon damage calculator, or the way that, like, calculates values. Actually, let me just pay attention to bugs real quick. Can't take either of those. Oh, that was a Caterpie. Okay, we'll take this one. This one, then Oddish, then hopefully Weedle. Oh, I missed the cycle. It's fine. Why is friendship in speedruns bad? Friendships in speedruns is bad because, well, one, I'll razz it again. Who's getting the ball this time? So there are certain aspects of friendship that are bad. There are some that are, oh my goodness, that is very unlikely to happen. Each one of these throws is like an 83% chance to get in, by the way. It's fine. You know what? I'm just gonna make this a no reset run, and I'm gonna answer every single question that you have, and then some. And I'll explain the game. This will be my marathon submission video. I will answer your question in a second, though. So I'm gonna focus on grabbing this Oddish and grabbing a Weedle soon. I did say that Oddish in Forest come at level 7. Oh no, you're good. There's just certain things I like need to focus on at any given point. I did say that Oddish in Forest comes in at level 7, and typically you don't want to catch it in Forest. Well, you can if you get some more catch experience on it later. So I'm basically banking on catching a Weedle after this, so that it can level up to level 8 and then level 9 for the Brock fight. Friendship in speedruns is bad. You'll see a little bit later, if you're still around, that if you use enough items and you do enough things with your Pokemon, in-game or in-battle things start happening. I believe the first thing that happens is what we call Power of Love, where if your Pokemon would be KO'd, it will instead live on 1 HP. Or if your Pokemon gets status, like poison, paralysis, etc., it will attempt to expel that status condition. That is a good facet of... where's my Weedle? Weedle. Any Weedle. Okay. I'll take this one. That is a good facet of friendship. It can come in clutch at certain times, especially in the endgame, if you need to go for a damage range on an attack, and then like you miss it, and then you live on Power 11, and you're like, yay, the run lives. So that is a good facet of friendship. A bad facet of friendship is what we call turnarounds. And what turnarounds do, let me just grab my stats here because I'm teaching double kick. Turnarounds happen when your friendship is high enough and you land either a super effective hit on a Pokemon, as I recently learned, a super effective single hit on a Pokemon, or if you like heal your Pokemon in battle, your Pokemon will then like turn around to try and face you to like, oh, thank you, or like, I did a good job, look at me. And each one of those turnarounds costs you 2 seconds. And while 2 seconds may not seem like a big deal in the grand scope of things, it definitely adds up, especially in the late game when we need to rely a lot more on super effective hits to get us through fights rather than like using a water move against like a flying type, for example, when we actually need to use like an electric move or something. So the route, like, this game is like carefully routed to try and minimize as many turnarounds as possible. I am good to just leave here, but I would really love to see something glowing. I'll catch the bird. It hurts my catch route later, but this is fine. Yeah, exactly. I'm aware that there's an ad going, so I'll like try and talk like less about actual in-chat questions. But we are level 9 on the Oddish now, which is a good thing. Level 10 Oddish on Brock will all but guarantee me one-shotting it. The only thing that I have to worry about on Brock is if Onyx headbutts me. This headbutt has a 30% chance to flinch. So we are at 7 caught, 49 plans still. I'm gonna take Pidgeotto off my plan tracker right now. Pidgey is like one of those unique Pokemon where you can either get 0, 1, or 2 evolutions off of it, depending on where you catch it. Pretty versatile. I caught Oddish 3rd, or 2nd, so we'll be in slot 3. Thank you for the potions. I will probably be using them. What nature did I say it was? I never actually wrote it down. Lonely Mischievous, right? You'll see on my splits that I have every split along with a number by it. And that number is how many catches that I have done by the time I've completed that specific split. So you'll see that on my personal best, I caught 8 Pokemon by the time that I got around to beating Brock by the 19-ish minute mark. Something, there's a really popular copy pasta that goes around in the Let's Go communities. It used to be that there was a saying that for every catch that you use, or that you get, you basically, every catch is worth roughly 30 seconds. That is a general rule of thumb, but in reality, it varies, essentially. Depending on like if it levels, like if it learns a move on evolution, depending on like where it is, where you need to find it. 22 special attack is good. 11 speed is a little iffy because I could speed tie a Bellsprout and a Sandshrew that I need to fight later on. Headbutt is fine as long as it doesn't flinch. Pokedex and Violet to get all charms. Nice. Not RNG, necessarily. There are certain things that you know in advance have a little bit more overhead. So for example, like the best example that I can give is catching Zubat. The speedrun will typically try to catch Zubat in Rock Tunnel because by that time it's at a level that it can it'll take 1 level to evolve into Golbat, right? Because Zubat evolves at like level 22 or something, and Zubat and Rock Tunnel will be level 24 when we end up catching them. The issue with Zubat is that it tries to learn Leech Life from level 24 to level 25, and then as soon as it evolves into Golbat, it'll try to learn a move as well. Each one of those moves takes time. Compared to, say, if I Moonstone a Jigglypuff and evolve into Wigglytuff, it doesn't learn a move on evolution instead. Let's do some quick shopping. This X defense that I buy now, I'm not going to use for another like 2 hours. But it's useful to have in my bag. For reasons I will explain later. Yeah, so if you run this game enough times, you start to get the hang of things of like, alright, so this Pokemon is really fast to catch. This Pokemon is really consistent to catch, but it might take a little bit more time. So you just kind of have to think about those things as you go throughout the run. There's a lot of micromanaging in this run, more so than probably any other Pokemon speedrun. It's level 7. Sure. This is a sketchy catch, probably. But I'm opting to catch this now because I accidentally ran into it. I could catch a Rattata later at a given point. But because I accidentally ran into it, I'm just going to go ahead and convert the time that it would have been for a encounter and convert that into a catch. More notably, I remember that my Metapod was level 9 and was very close to leveling up. So that catch specifically helps out to get Metapod to evolve to Butterfree, crucially before the next menu. If Metapod evolves to Butterfree, it's cool because I get an extra catch, because all the bugs are like 3 free catches. Caterpie into Metapod into Butterfree, and then Weedle into Kakuna into Beedrill. What is bad about the bugs is that Butterfree learns 3 moves at level 13. It learns Stun Spore, Sleep Powder, and Poison Powder, and tries to learn them all at once. Each move that a Pokemon attempts to learn, and then you cancel out of the move, takes 4 seconds of time. Roughly. Like 2 to 4 seconds, depending on when you level up and whether they're bundled together. So we want to get... let me mark Butterfree. We want to get Butterfree out of our party as soon as we possibly can. Because we have so our first catching section was in Forest. Mount Moon is going to be our next like mini catching section. Also, I think Oddish leveling to 11 means that I outspeed the Spellsprout, guaranteed. Just making sure this isn't a speed tie. Good. It also means I might speed tie the Sandshrew that's coming up, but we'll get there when we get there. So yeah, we'll be doing a menu soon to get rid of certain Pokemon that are very low level and we won't bother evolving. For example, the Magikarp that we just picked up comes in at level 5. And even though Gyarados is a really cool Pokemon, Magikarp evolves at level 20. That is 15 levels for it to evolve. And every level... There it is. There's the copy pasta. Thank you, Cell. Every level costs you 2 seconds. So when you really think about it, it costs 30 seconds alone to get from Magikarp to Gyarados for an evolution, and then another like 25 to 30 seconds for... There's the Butterfree. Cool. Another like 25 to 30 seconds for the evolution animation. So if I were to keep Magikarp and evolve into Gyarados, that is a Pokemon that costs me a full minute to get as opposed to the copy pasta of 30 seconds. Which is why I'm going to dump Magikarp immediately. Actually, I don't even think I have Magikarp on my party. I think it's just Rattata, Pidgey. Yeah, I think Magikarp went to the box anyway, so I don't really have to worry about that too much. What I do have to worry about is something that we set our time for. So let's see if I make this. So right before the run, we always set our time to a specific time, so that the day rolls over when we get to this exact room. There are hidden items in this game that you can pick up that aren't, like, marked as Pokeballs in the overworld. So this thing that I'm picking up right now, I think I made it, is a Moonstone. When the day rolls over, if you're in-game, hidden items have a, like, I think we determined that it's a 50% chance for items to respawn. Hello, Grizzly. This is not the OBS preview. You are correct. Please attack, thank you. You've also walked into what has turned into my commentary, like, marathon submission video. Which means I am locking myself in to finish this run, apparently. Pika learns Double Team at 12. Arish learns Poison Powder at 12, but I don't have to cancel out of it, which is fine. Okay, so the day's rolled over. I'm gonna spam A right here. Okay, nope. Moonstone. Oh boy, we get to talk about Chansey now. We get to talk about Chansey. Chansey is certainly a Pokemon. The rare candy at Celadon, yes, that also counts. Chansey in this game is like one of the secret spawns, so to speak. It has like a very low percentage chance of showing up on any given route that it can. This is also a really good time to talk about glowing Pokemon. Glowing Pokemon in the overworld can be either big or small. They give you an experience modifier if you catch them. There is also a secret thing called like super size, which they're either very big or very small if you're familiar with Pokemon Go. And they give an extra experience modifier on top of that. Chansey, depending on where you find it, is really, really good because it essentially functions as just a buttload of experience. But as a consequence, you need to manage your party very well in order to take advantage of it. Like I mentioned before, every level costs you 2 seconds. Every move with a level costs you 4 seconds, roughly. So here, I'm dumping my entire party except for Pikachu and Oddish because I need those. And we're going for it. This is approximately a 75% chance to get in the ball, assuming that I hit an excellent on this. Who's getting the ball? If this is supersized, this run is going to go off the rails very shortly. Okay, so as you can see, Chansey, stupid amount of experience. We went from 13 to 18, just like that. Chansey is both a blessing and a curse. It might take you a while to get it in the ball, depending on how lucky you are. Yes, that is the other thing. Chansey is exceptionally rare. It's like a 0.5% chance, give or take. 0.5 to 1% chance, depending on the location in which you can find it in. So that's like another thing where you just have to like, okay, is my party ready for surprise Chansey to show up? Can I afford to like get all that extra experience? That never happens. Oh well. Good thing this is a commentary video, and I don't care about my time. that much. What does this have? This has a Geodude? And I have a Pikachu. What level is your Geodude? 10? Alright. Even though I'm level 18, I'm just gonna play it safe here. We'll see if double kick kills. Welcome to Spinners, by the way. Oh yeah, this clears easy. You might have an Onyx still, which is fine. I will also point out that in very recent days, I've switched from playing on the OBS preview to an actual monitor. So, like, things are a little bit different sometimes. Timings are a little bit different. I'm getting used to it. I don't need this experience. This is effectively just straight up time loss, unfortunately. I should have known better and just waited. But I'm so used to just YOLOing that spinner. So that's on me. Yeah, like I said before, trainer experience doesn't matter a whole lot in the early game. As you saw from that Chansey, we gained 10 total levels between Pika and Oddish. Like, that's how we're just gonna power through all of the game for the most part. The lure should run out here. Oh, pink thing. I think this spawned before the lure. Lures. Lures allow Pokemon... No, that was level 8. That's fine. So what lures do is that they increase the spawn rate of Pokemon. And they also, more importantly for the speedrun, increase the level cap of Pokemon in an area by 1. So for example, this Chansey that I caught came in at level 11. If the Chansey had spawned without a lure, at max it would have come in at level 12. Can I do ladder reset? Like for spawns and stuff? Yeah, I could. But that's really slow. Can I do ladder reset to get more Chansey? Like technically the answer is yes. You probably wouldn't do that unless you were in a casual setting or if you were playing one of the other categories. One of them is called All Obtainable Pokemon. And that's kind of how you try and grind for those like rare chances to get Pokemon and whatnot. Things like Kangaskhan, things like Dratini, those like low spawn chance Pokemon. It's pretty good to either like you said, use a ladder reset, try and like change your loading zone, or you can do what's called a repel trick. I'll be getting a repel later on to just as a little bit of a safety net. But repels, if you say like you lured and all the Pokemon slots on a given route are not what you need, what you can do is you can go into your menu, repel and lure immediately, and you will essentially just refresh your entire route to try and get the Pokemon that you need. We don't do that in the speedrun, either like loading zone resets or repel trekking often, just because it's really slow. As you can see on the Pokemon tracker, even though I only need 50 Pokemon, there are more than 50 Pokemon on this tracker. So if I don't get a certain thing that I need, I can just kind of move on and hope for the best later. No. So what you might be thinking of is something called like a chain bonus in this game. If you catch a Pokemon, you essentially are put on what's called a chain for that specific Pokemon, and that chain can go like all the way up to like however much a chain can go up to in this game. I actually don't know the max chain for this game, but if you keep catching the same Pokemon, you will eventually acquire what's called a chain bonus, and the higher your chain bonus, the more likely it is for rarer spawns to show up. This actually does get used in certain speedrunning categories. Like, you might chain 11 Pidgeys and then run over to Seafoam Islands to try to grab a Squirtle. That's the rare spawn there. Things like that. But we don't do that in this category because we just want to get to the end as fast as possible. How is my catch counter accurate? I think it is. I also didn't grab Double Moonstone, so we will not evolve Jigglypuff into Wigglytuff when we get there. this is one of those like double fights in the game where it's like a double, but you're not actually using two controllers. But we use Oddish here just as a secondary Pokemon. Well, we'll be using it similarly later on. But the secondary Pokemon typically is used to like feed X items into the main Pokemon. There are certain things that are a little bit different. You'll see this with Growlithe, with Nidoking or Nidoqueen later on. Clefairy grew to level 9. I know that you learn a move at level 10, so I want to get you out of my party ASAP. But at the same time, I know that I have Sandshrew and Mankey to still catch later on. I'm actually just going to do blank splits, because I've essentially committed this to being a commentary run. And I know that I won't perform as well if I'm doing commentary, as you probably saw from me hitting that spinner, which is totally fine by me. I'll still do pretty well overall. There's a stack of Great Balls there, but I didn't waste too many, so I'm not going to pick those up. For Cerulean, you can kind of take this in one of two ways depending on how your experience is. You can either fight Misty first or fight Misty last, and we always prefer to fight Misty first because it saves time. Let me capture my stats here. I've actually not looked at my stats all that much, but I know that I have 49 attack, which is more than enough to clear this entire section. You don't necessarily use the second player to get more experience. If we can save like a turn by using the second controller, we will. Generally speaking, well, just by nature of you needing to input more with a second controller, 2-player turns take longer than 1-player turns for obvious reasons. However, there are certain times where we need to either set up using X items, or we may need to use like a secondary Pokemon to support with something like Helping Hand, for example, is a really good doubles move, and we use that a decent amount in this category, especially for Pikachu. Yeah, but overall, it's to expedite battles more than anything else. The experience that you get on the secondary Pokemon does not matter as much as the amount of experience that you get from catches. Exhibit A, Chansey in Mount Moon. Alright, so because I'm like stupidly over-leveled, this is not going to be a problem. If I was level 15, there's a chance that I would have like a damage range on the Starmie, even if I was plus attack, which I am. But the way that you just go about this, press attack, wow, English is hard. Press X attack, press Sippy Zap twice, and you win the fight. So as I'm spamming through this fight, I'm actually going to catch up on my AV spread, because I took a lot of screenshots. I also forgot to deposit. I'll deposit after this. I took a lot of screenshots over the course of me like teaching Headbutt, teaching Zippy Zap, so I want to try and figure out what my AV spread is on this Pikachu. There's level 10, that's what I want to avoid. Because you learn Minimize then. Pretty much. The Starmie here is actually really, really scary, and if you're not prepared for it in casual play, it can just completely shred through your team. Like, it knows Scald, which is like an 80 base power move, and it gets the same type attack bonus, because Starmie is a water type, and Starmie, as I mentioned before, is already a cracked enough Pokemon as it is. So that's just like wild that they just like, hey, here's a Starmie. I'm pretty sure that the Starmie that Misty has even has a minus special attack nature, just because like they wanted to like nerf it just a little bit. But they also want to keep it true to the anime, where like Misty has a Psyduck and a Starmie. So like, sure, I guess, Game Freak. Alright, I'm level 19, and I have 49 attack. This is typically a good thing. However, so this Pidgey goes down to Zippy Zap. It's Impish, yeah, there you go. Imp is just plus defense minus special attack. Headbutt might do too much damage, and I'll show off why that's the case. This is actually optimal. So every rival fight, if you've played Pokemon before, some NPC trainers will have potions or super potions or whatnot. This rival has the potion, and it will typically use the potion if any of his Pokemon are at 25% HP or less. Thankfully, Headbutt low rolled a little bit, is what I'm assuming, and then Oddish also uses Absorb to get its HP back up, which means that the AI is less likely to use a potion, which also wastes a turn, because you need to Headbutt again. Teehee. Alright, I'm actually gonna look at my AVs now during Nugget Bridge. This is the boring section of the run. Talk about what your favorite nugget is or whatever. Alright, so at 9... Oh gosh. I've like taken all the screenshots. I have not input any stats whatsoever. At 9, we were at 9, 4, 2... Okay, so I know that. Alright, let's look at level 12. 12 should be 600. You have 601. And then 12 should be 738. Oh, did I misclick something? No, that's right. You know what? Screw it. I'm not checking my AVs anymore. This run's too far gone for AV tracking. This is where you get the cash to do Wordle. True. Shoutouts to... Sanjen's the main Wordle aficionado, right? Oh gosh, the world the other day was manga. Interesting. Do not... Thank you, Sandshrew. This Sandshrew can be really, really trolly at times. And of course I get the Headbutt second crit, because that always happens. Sandshrew has absurd defenses. Typically, like almost always, unless you have like stupidly high attack and stupidly high levels, that Sandshrew is always a two-shot with Pikachu. You can two-controller it and use an item, like a healing item on Pikachu if you need it, like a potion or an antidote, and then Oddish will one-shot the Sandshrew. But like, I'm lazy and I'm just gonna go for the double headbutt. Saves time over the 2C anyway. I want to say that like 2 1-controller turns edge out 1 2-controller turn ever so slightly if you consider the fact that you need to summon the second controller and unsummon the second controller right after the fight as well. So we kind of base our like decision to controller a fight based off of that timing and what we need for any given fight. Alright, finally done with Nugget Bridge for the most part. I'm just gonna assume that like I hit all the ranges. I'll go for some funny things. Yeah, we do not care about time. Time is just a construct, and we're all living in it and ignoring it. Shout out to Time Theft Tuesday. I would talk more about damage ranges, but like, I will hit all of them because I am level 20. Normally, like, assuming regular experience and nothing's like, you don't get a Chansey, you don't get a glowing Chansey at that in Moon, you could probably be like anywhere between level like 15 to 18 here, depending on how lucky or unlucky you are. And you'd actually have to start thinking about like, oh, do I have to headbutt the Coughing? Is Zippy Zap a better range than Coughing than it is for a headbutt flinch to occur? Things like that. you always want to take the best possible outcome. And that's where damage ranges come into play. That was the first of a couple of trainer skips that we'll do. You will see very shortly that trainers in this game are really, really, really blind, and they should all go see an eye doctor. I'll be honest, Sandy, I have no idea which spinner you were talking about. I am, like, locked on commentary at this point. It's just some... yeah, spinners are a thing. The ether spinner? Oh yeah, trainers are so blind. Sandy, actually, they kind of helped pioneer the other version of this speedrun, which is the any % category. That category you can use mount skips in, and it's really cool. I actually did a run of that for RPG Limit Break. I should go watch like the end of that run to see how those work. But effectively, trainers have... So imagine a bus. No, just kidding. Imagine there, like on every trainer's forehead, that there is like a laser shooting right out of it. That laser is 25 pixels long. If you cross that line, you get seen. And I'm realizing that there's an ad that's playing, so just enjoy Bill getting not ditched for the time being, while I hold my explanation for later. It's also like the second of 5 cutscenes that we need to skip. Teehee. Alright, so we haven't seen a Bulbasaur. We haven't seen... Well, we could see Squirtle on the way back. We can't catch it at this point. But the only place that you can see Squirtle is right there in that patch of grass. Patch of grass, goodness. Should not speedrun and try commentating this late at night, but here we are. Here we are. Something something, Detective Pikachu, something something, Let's Go commentators have one set of jokes. Something something. The Dig TM outside here actually got used for world record strats by Etiquette. They are obligatory jokes. Like, what if one instance of Let's Go commentary just like didn't make any of the jokes that you would mention at all? That would certainly be something. Anyway, so what I was talking about trainer vision is as long as you don't cross that 25 pixel line, you are fine. So the trainers that are on Route 25 a little bit earlier, one of them looking up and one of them looking down, you can just kind of thread the needle between them and just not get seen by them, which is really funny. Happy Pride Month also, if I had chosen Boy 1 or Boy 2 or something. They could also be bi. I'm not assuming anything about the characters. I wonder how like much Girl 3 gets delved into in the manga. It's like Girl 3 is canon after all. Alright, I deposited Chansey and Clefairy, so I don't have to do anything on this next menu other than just use a lure. Fair. We were mostly talking about jokes that we make on commentary for the Let's Go tournament. We just kind of reuse the same jokes over and over again. Please send help. So there's a very conveniently placed lure here, right before the next catching section that we're about to do. So before I take any more steps, I'm going to use this lure to ensure that anything that I catch on this next route will be at the appropriate level that I need it to be at. Things that we're looking for. Growlithe is #1 dog in my book, and if we see it immediately, we are in good shape. Hold on. Okay, this is also really good. Abra is priority #2 because it fulfills the same function that Growlithe does. I'm actually going to switch to Pokeballs here while I have the time. Grade on Abra I don't think is guaranteed. Quick notes, 93.45%, good enough. So, as you can see, I just highlighted Abra and Kadabra on my catch tracker there. And, forget this. Okay, cool. I almost canceled Teaching Thunderbolt, that would have been bad. Abra is one of those very rare spawns. It's level 5. Or, it's not level 5, it's a 5% spawn, rather. So getting one here is really, really good. I still need to go back up with this, but I wanted to make sure that the Abra didn't despawn by the time I came back. What way at the cave place thing? I'm not entirely sure what you're referencing. If you're talking about, like, Diglett Cave or something. I have to remember to throw a little bit slowly here, because I am now on a no longer 0.2 second delay. I threw a great on this Jigglypuff last night, and teehee. The lure that I use, so everything that spawns on this route now, while the lure is active, will be level 17. And that's why I need things to be at. If I could find a puppy, that would be... You know what? I'll go back for it. This is the commentary run. So this is what we want to see on Route 6. Yeah, met me halfway. Good puppy. So this Growlithe, if I didn't catch the Abra, this would be used for some fights later on. However, because I did catch an Abra first, and I got enough experience on it so that it leveled up into Kadabra, I'm going to be using this instead of Growlithe. Oh, that's Gloom also. Didn't even realize that Oddish was level 21 already. So you remember how I mentioned earlier that Magikarp is bad to evolve into Gyarados because of how many levels it takes. So you might be wondering why I keep Oddish around for so long and evolve into Gloom. One of the, like, I say recent again, and this is still like 1.5 years ago. When this game first came out, I don't think you were allowed to use the second controller at all, and that made for some really awful catches and some really awful battles. Like, within any given one-player, one-controller speedrun, if you had like 20 breakouts, like, you would consider that a good run. Now, like, I will take like 1 to 2 breakouts, essentially. And the 2-player controller is just really good overall. This is another skip that I'll be landing. You hit the direct middle between those 2 trainers' visions, and as a result, you just don't get seen. 70 Pokeballs. I don't have my thing pulled up. Is still 19 Great Balls, I think. Yeah. We'll go 15 here because we're plus attack. So here's where we buy the Repel. This Repel is kind of like our insurance policy to make sure that the catches that we want actually happen. It's not guaranteed, but it always helps. I'm also going to remember this time to actually switch my party around. We are Lonely Nature. which makes me a little bit concerned on when controlling this fight. Yeah, it'll be fine. Worst case scenario, the good thing about using 2 controllers too, say like you're learning the run and something does not go as planned. Say you get crit on a critical turn and like, oh no, I need to heal, but I can't afford to heal with just using 1 controller. At any given point in any given battle, if you start the battle with 1 controller, you can almost always bring out the 2nd controller unless you're on a water route. So, like, in this next fight, I'm going to try to 1 controller it. If the fight goes south, I can always just shake my 2nd controller and use that to save the battle. So we are level 21, 22 here on Pikachu, which is critical because level 21 is where Pikachu learns Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt is a fantastic move. We'll be using that on Pikachu for pretty much the remainder of the run. There's some scenarios where we'll still be using Zippy Zap, but Thunderbolt is going to be our primary attacking move from here on out. Yeah, don't be a water route. I've seen so many runs die to accidental water spinners in races. And by so many, I mean a few. And by a few, yeah, this is probably dangerous territory. I have to set up 2 X attacks on this upcoming Eevee, and depending on how much damage this Eevee deals to me on the first attack, I will determine whether or not I need to heal. I'm just gonna potion. Super potion, rather. We'll play it safe. Yeah. In case the crit happens. Critical hits in this generation deal 1.5 times damage. In earlier generations, they'll deal 2 damage. Or times 2 damage. So, as you can see, if I didn't heal there, I was done for. That's an opportunity where I could have pulled out the 2-player controller. But it was a little bit faster for me to just heal in battle with a 1-player. By a few, you mean etiquette. Thinking of somebody else in mind, but anyway. That being said, just like in the original games, we don't get HMs in this game. Hidden moves are no longer a thing. Instead, they're replaced by secret techniques. This one is called Chop Down, affectionately called Choppy Chop by the community, because we love alliterations. So Chop Down lets us cut down bushes. We'll see a bush that we can cut down in just a little bit. But that is it for the SS Anne. We are really good on catches, by the way. With Jiggly, Growlithe, Abra all showing up when they needed to. We are at 20 caught at this stage. As you can see on my PB, I caught 17, which 15 to 17 I deem to be pretty good by boat rival. Anything above that is wonderful. I do have to make the skip going back up. Thankfully, you can basically line yourself up with the center row or center column of tiles and use that to kind of guide your steps for the remainder of the skip. If you heard off to the left why I paused, there was a Chansey that spawned off screen. Shoutouts to Route 6 Chansey. Jeez. I should note that on the topic of Chansey, the higher level a Pokemon is, generally speaking, the harder it is to catch. There is a stat called CP, which stands for Combat Power, I believe. The higher a Pokemon's CP is, determines essentially its catch rate. There is a formula that is used to determine catch rate that I forget who wrote the catch rate calculator. Shoutouts to whoever they are. Also shoutouts to world record chances, yes. Etchy's Eevee world record the script keeps writing itself at this point. Etchy's world record on Eevee gets a supersized Chansey on Route 6, which skyrockets his Eevee to like level 28 or something very, very silly like that. So this is where having a second controller comes in really handy. This Eevee gets taken down by a Pikachu. Okay. Apparently a Pikachu single kick takes that out. Pikachu has nothing to hit this Gloom with. So instead of trying to power through it with Pikachu alone, we're going to do a combination of Headbutt plus Psybeam. I could have also X special attacked the Kadabra, and that alone would have taken this out. I'm actually going to peek at my speed real quick on Kadabra. 49, that's really good. The Raticate has 46 speed that's coming up, and Kadabra has a chance to die to Crunch. So knowing that Kadabra outspeeds the Raticate is really good. So yeah, that trainer plus this trainer, Pikachu cannot really handle on its own. Eevee can one-controller both of these fights due to the amount of move coverage that it has. It has a fire move for the Gloom, and it has a water move for this Sandshrew that's right here. So Pika can't touch the Sandshrew. As you saw in Nugget Bridge, even like Headbutt against a level 10 Sandshrew does like absolutely nothing because its defenses are so high. So instead we're just gonna one-shot this with Kadabra Psybeam. Nice and easy. You can also do this with Growlithe. With Growlithe, if your Growlithe is in level 18, it becomes a kind of a bad range. But because I caught Abra first, it's just really convenient. Alright, so that is it for this section of battles. I'm gonna update my catch tracker. I'm gonna take a screenshot of that because I haven't looked at my 80s in forever. And we're gonna do a little bit of party management here. Dumping things that we no longer need, things that are already evolved. That actually is everything. So I'm actually gonna go into this route as a one controller, which is not very common. I'm gonna do this menu now so I don't forget. So the reason why I keep Oddish with me is because you use it to two-controller catch things. If you catch something with two controllers, these are none of the spawns that I need, actually. So I'm going to reset the route by repelling. Like I mentioned before, this is what we call a repel trick. Repel and Lure ensures that things spawn at the appropriate... Are you serious? This is really bad. Okay, okay, this saves it. I'm actually gonna razz the Spearow just to make sure that it gets in the ball. I don't know what the percentage chance of this is. Either way, we got it. So we're fine. Yeah, so coming into this route with one control is really sketchy because, like I mentioned before, you can two-controller catches as well as fights. I'll think about this one. Catches with two controllers are much more favored to get in the ball than catches with a single controller. Like I mentioned before, there's a catch formula, and it takes into account things like level of the Pokemon, how high a Pokemon's combat power is, what Pokeball you're using with the first controller, do you have a second controller, what Pokeball you're using with the second controller. This actually matters. We used to think that didn't, but thank you to Anubis for telling us that it actually is. We're gonna wait for perfect. Nidoran male is what we want to see on this route. I'm rushing the catch there because experience doesn't really matter here all too much. Except if I see Eradicate, I'll actually take my time to get the Excellent on. Things like, what berry do you use? Raspberries, silver raspberries, golden raspberries, they all help increase the rate at which a Pokemon will get in the ball. I'll wait around for like another second. Perfect. Okay, we can leave now. I'm satisfied with this Route 10. I also need to mark Krabby, notably. So we have Krabby, we have Nidoran female, we have Nidoran male. And we have 53 planned. That's really, really good at this point in the game. Lots of things are going to evolve. Like Spearow, Nidoran will evolve soon. Nidoran female will evolve soon. So this is pretty good. I wish a glowing big rat would show up, because that would be a good source of experience. But you can't have everything. So we're looking good in terms of experience, looking good in terms of catch counts. Having more catches early is always good, because then you don't have to rely on like the late game catches. So say like you need Psyduck and Doduo and Grimer, and like 2 out of 3 of those just like don't show up, and you're just kind of screwed and you go into Tentacle. Also hello to Lorelei, Elite Four member. Manages to take out 3 Rocket Grunts on her own. Pokemon Let's Go women. What level am I? I'm level 24, this means Headbutt Zippy Zap probably. Super Fang's annoying. Hello, Travaria. Yes, I did ring, and you did answer. Good to see you. I have turned this run. I have not edited my my stream title yet, but I've turned this run into a commentary run, just to get things in for marathon submissions. Good morning to you, as well. I'll go ahead and cut this bush. This item ball here is a stack of 3 Great Balls. Can be useful if you're running a little bit low, or you didn't like buy a whole lot in Vermilion. Travaria is also another seasoned Pokemon speedrunner. Hello, Machop. I would like for you to not attack and instead just get in the ball, but so it goes sometimes. So the things that we're looking for here in Rock Tunnel: Machop, which we just got, Cubone, Zubat, Graveler, more importantly than anything else, Rhyhorn. Rhyhorn's our first instance of a ride Pokemon in this game. If you notice, we did not stop in Cerulean to get a bike. That's because there are no bikes in this game. None that we can use anyway. Instead, we just ride on Pokemon. If you've played, like, Sun and Moon, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like, you can ride, I've never actually played Sun and Moon. Or, like, I have played Sun and Moon, but, like, once, so I don't remember what ride Pokemon there are in there. But it takes after that. So, Rhyhorn, if it will show up, please. We'll find a Rhyhorn eventually. Tauros and Mudsdale. Got it. Thanks, Sil. Yeah, ride Pokemon in this game typically will make your movement speed a little bit faster. Rhyhorn, Arcanine, and Rapidash are the things that we look out for in this run. Eevee really, really needs Rhyhorn because it is the only ride Pokemon that you get up until a certain point. Because we caught a Growlithe earlier, that's our backup ride if we don't end up finding a Rhyhorn. Hello, Golbat. Would not recommend catching this. Pretty low catch rate overall, and I would rather have a Zubat so that I can evolve. forgot to summon, but this allows time for an instant attack or that to happen. Zubat's a little tricky because it flies back and forth, but you can time the throw to like land if it swings wide like that. We never end up really going for the circle on Zubat, just because of how wildly it can change direction. It's just very erratic to try and throw on. Nidorino here. I never really talked about circles either. Circles, if you play Pokemon Go, they function very similarly. You can either hit a nice, great, or an excellent throw on a Pokemon, and depending on how small the circle is when you land your bonus, it'll apply a catch modifier to your throw appropriately. The smaller the circle, the better the catch modifier, essentially. Also, I guess I should mention, we're using motion controls for this game. I never mentioned that. You look promising. Nope, just kidding. I already have you. Yeah, motion controls are used to throw Pokeballs in this game. I need you. Hello, Cubone. Perfect. That wouldn't have happened if I was playing off of OBS preview. So Machop, Cubone, and Krabby, interestingly enough, I've caught all three. Each one of these Pokemon comes in at level 24, and each one of them also evolves at level 28. So I'm looking at my party right now. I've got Nidorino, Krabby, was it Pika, Fearow, Nidorino, Nidorina now, Krabby, Machop. I need to replace Fearow with Rhyhorn when I see it. I also need to get Zubat in my party, and I'm hoping that Graveler, when I catch it, just goes straight to the box. Rock Tunnel is probably the most intricate part of Let's Go speedruns, because there's so many decisions that you have to make here. Like, you have to make sure that your party doesn't level more than it needs to. Hello, Rhyhorn. We're gonna catch this now, and then we'll party manage. Razzing this Rhyhorn here will guarantee that it gets in an excellent throw. And then we can just write it as... You just attack, please. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. This part of the run is so intricate. You need to make sure that you ride the Rhyhorn. Make sure to get all of the evolved Pokemon out of your party as soon as possible so they don't get extra levels. So right now I'm going to dump Fearow. I'm going to dump Nidorina, I'm going to put Rhyhorn and Zubat in my party, and we're just going to roll with that for the rest of Rock Tunnel. There's also additional menuing that you have to do here that I'll show you. So, we'll go into the party, we're going to grab our friend Rhyhorn, put it in over Fearow. I'm going to grab Cubone, actually, and put it over Nidorina, and Nidorina is going to come over here, mark Rhyhorn as a ride. And then Super Pikachu, because we have a lonely nature, and we have a fight coming up that requires us to tank a couple of defensive hits. That's Nidoking here. We've got Rhyhorn. So like I mentioned, Krabby, Cubone, and Machop all require 4 levels to evolve. So that's why I'm putting them in the party together for now. Zubat, I actually might not evolve Zubat, oddly enough, because of its extra overhead in terms of its evolution and learning 2 moves. There. I think we're actually done with catches. I would have repelled if I had one, but we used it on Route 10. Yeah, we're actually done with catches in Rock Tunnel. And we have only gotten to the second trainer here. What level am I on Pika? 26. I am just going to headbutt double kick for safety. That was a very strong headbutt. My attack stack must be like super good, actually. Alright, Alright, so there's a reason why I evolved Nidoking and I'm keeping my party. Because, like, normally, like, I don't want the extra levels on any Pokemon because every level is an extra 2 seconds. Nidoking is going to be one of the partner Pokemon that will help us out immensely. Starting at... we're not going to refresh the lore. We're done with catches. Okay, thank you, Wall of Rhyhorn, for showing up. I only needed one. So Nidoking is great because it has 2 moves that we'll use. The first move that we'll use here is Helping Hand. And Helping Hand increases the damage of your supporting Pokemon's move by 1.5 times, which is really, really useful because this hiker not only has a Machop, but it also has a Rhyhorn. And be like, alright, Pika can't deal with Rhyhorn very well. It does no double kick, so what we use to get through the fight is go to +2 attack with the next attack. And then double kick plus a Helping Hand effectively means that we're +4 due to certain multipliers, which lets us knock out this Rhyhorn in one hit, which is really nice. I will 2C this next fight for safety in that case. We'll just pretend that this is like a tournament race, and I'll just go for like all the safe strats. You do have the option to 1 controller or 2 controller this fight. I probably could have 1 controller this if I had managed my health a little bit better. However, you can also get through this fight with Nidoking by Zippy Zapping and Helping Hand twice. There are many variants on how this fight can go, depending on your attack stat and how high your health is. The ideal situation here is you X attack turn 1 with a 1 controller fight, and then just spam Zippy Zap. Alternate versions include X attacking with the second controller and then healing if you need to. But this iteration of the fight also works. Notably, Ace Trainer Sophia is the first trainer in the game that gives us Ultra Balls. And we will be using those to catch the late stuff, basically. Stuff that we'll see on Cycling Road or Pokemon Road in this game. Stuff on Seaskim, on Route 21, stuff in Pokemon Mansion. Notably, if I was pretty low on catches at this point, I might have gone for certain things that I normally wouldn't. So as you can see, like Charmander is highlighted on here. Charmander's a pretty bad catch if you don't have Ultra Balls. But if you find a Charmander by the time you beat Ace Trainer Sophia, you can swap to Ultra Balls on your first controller and make that catch a little bit better than it normally is. Alright, but we are getting the heck out of Rock Tunnel. Rock Tunnel with 32 on an exit is pretty decent. We're not worrying too much about time here. But if I had to guess, I would say this is like 303 pace. So after Rock Tunnel, we don't really have too many catches in this section. I could catch Eradicate on the way over to Celadon, but this entire section is primarily dominated by just battles. This is the part where we have to push through the story a little bit. I'm going to summon the second controller because that is what we need to do for this fight. Yeah, so the Pokemon Let's Go games, Pikachu and Eevee, generally follow like the original Gen 1 games, Red and Blue, to a certain extent, or like Fire Red, Leaf Green, if you're into Gen 3 remakes. So we go to Lavender Tower, we find out that there's like, you know, Pokemon there that we can't identify, and then we end up going to Celadon City and raid the Team Rocket hideout, things like that. T-Bolt kills here, right? Yeah, okay. I forgot that I'm I guess I'm Lonely Mischievous, so T-Bolt would have KO'd there anyway. 70 attack at 27 is actually really freaking good. There's certain things that I can do in Hideout, knowing that now. Certain damage ranges that I can go for. Yeah, this is... I want to say that, like, in one controller days, this fight was pretty awful. But this is almost always a return fight now, if you can do this with a partner Pokemon. Pikachu takes out the Pidgeotto because Nidoking has nothing against it, and then we set up to +4 attack on the Nidoking to wipe out the Gloom and the Jolteon because Pika can't touch those. It's a very complementary playstyle, which is why I actually chose Pikachu over Eevee when I decided which one to run. Eevee is definitely more of a setup and go for Eevee, but Pikachu, well, I think Eevee also 2 controls this fight, but Pikachu needs to take advantage of a much wider array of Pokemon in order to get through the game. Like Growlithe and Kadabra on Route 9, for example. Nidoqueen can also help out too. Basically anything that's tanky and knows Helping Hand is really useful here. In certain situations, late Arcanine can also be a thing here. I know that gets used in some of the category extensions like Kicked by Koga, where instead of getting 50 Pokemon to enter Koga's gym, you instead get to Koga's gym as soon as possible and then have him basically boot you out, which is really funny. I wonder who was the first Kicked by Koga. Because Ditch Bill is another category extension. That one was kind of turned into a category extension because one of the community members, Joker Sleeps, I think, joked about like ditching Bill in an any % run, and then he actually did it, and that was the first instance of a Ditch Bill run ever posted to the leaderboards. I'm sure the same thing has happened for Kicked by Koga. Yeah, this next section varies entirely on what partner Pokemon you have. We have the ideal one in Nidoking. Nidoking can one-shot this Clefairy using Poison Jab, even though this is based off of Gen 1 game. Fairy moves and Dark moves, and by extension their typings, are also in this game. So Clefairy acquired the Fairy typing in Gen 6, which means it is weak to Poison. And notably, there aren't any Dark types in this game. There are Dark moves, like Bite and Crunch. Like, Bite got turned into a Dark type move, and it retains that here. Crunch is a move that was not introduced in Gen 1, but however... Oh, Big Rat. Controller, where are you? Cool. This will even out my catch count. This is the only thing that I could have possibly wanted. On this route. So, good to see it here. I'm actually just gonna take this time to change my stream title. Let's go do a commentary video. Done. Awesome. Yeah, so all 3 of these Pokemon, Krabby, Cubone, Machop, gonna evolve roughly around the same time, so hopefully I can deposit them all roughly around the same time. This Firestone is really important for Pikachu, specifically. Hello, Growlithe. You called. Arcanine is a really fast ride Pokemon, and even though we're riding Rhyhorn right now, I could evolve Growlithe into Arcanine at this point in time, but it's a little bit faster to save that menu for later. We'll be using Growlithe in about 13 minutes or so, give or take. Don't worry about it. This section is also typically where speedrunners will evaluate their planned catch count and adjust accordingly. Typically, you want to see an even catch count going into the late game, so things like So like my plan right now is 52, which is totally fine. If I had an odd catch count, I would need to catch like a one-off Pokemon. And I have to like evaluate that accordingly. This is a really important NPC in the game. She's called Madame Celadon. And what she does is she synchronizes every Pokemon that you get for the rest of the in-game day. So if you remember, we set our in-game clock to be like 11:30 something before it started, and it rolled over to the next day when we were in Mount Moon. So we have like 23 hours to catch all of the modest Pokemon that we want. Modest being plus special attack and minus attack. And like I said before, we're going to be using Starmie for the later portion of the run. This is Zippy Zap. This is Zippy Zap with this attack, surely. That's fine. Yeah, perfect. So it's essential that we synchronize our nature there, because basically all the ranges that we've calculated are for plus special attack Starmie. Also shoutouts to Joker for syncing quiet, or not syncing in at all, in one of the tournament races last year, and still managing to get like the second best nature for Starmie. I wouldn't say that Joker is a meme, just more that memes are attracted to him in some way, shape, or form. There are a couple ways that you can do this fight. And the way that I'm going to do it is just the standard way. There are certain ranges that you can hit with either +2 Poison Jab or +2 Zippy Zap. The ranges are much higher for Pikachu than they are for Nidoking. So we're just going to take this time to heal Pikachu and then finish off the Hypno. This Poison Jab also has, I think it's a 30% chance to poison, and that's factored into the calculations too. We actually get to see our Nidoking stats here, which is good. 69 attack, nice. 69 attack and level 28 means that I can throw away the second controller for the time being and go into this next fight just with Nidoking alone. Should also look at what my special attack could be on this Pika. Actually, hold on. Let's go screenshot this somewhere. There's so many ways that Hideout can go, like I said before. Shoutouts also to Etchy for like making very extensive notes for both Pikachu and Eevee. Like, I have my own set of notes, but they are heavily influenced by his notes. When was my last Pikachu level up that I captured? 70 attack, 64 special attack. And I think Pika's 28 right now. So that should have gone up a little bit. I'll go for the Helping Hand Thunderbolt strat. 70 special attack is guaranteed. I'll do X special attack then, in that case. Just to increase the multiplier by 0.5 times. Or however the math goes for that. I don't do math. I just let all of the Pokemon damage calculators do it for me. So this Grimer, I could either pull out Rhyhorn, I could pull out Pika, or I could pull out Nidoking and Pika. I'm just going to do the safe thing and ensure that this Grimer goes down to a +2 Thunderbolts. It does go down to a +2. Yeah, okay. That would be really silly of me if it actually did not at that point. Nidoking's at pretty low HP here, and Rhyhorn is actually going to be the superstar for the next fight. It used to be that you would do a double battle with Jesse and James over here using Pikachu, but it's kind of risky, especially if both Arbok and Weezing double up into Pikachu with Poison Jab and Sludge Bomb. So we use both Rhyhorn and Nidoking instead. If we didn't have a Rhyhorn, we'd still go back to the old strat, but this strat is much more consistent / safe. At the very least, Pika doesn't die, which you need Pikachu for the next couple of fights after the fact. Something, don't stand on rolly chairs, OSHA violations. Let's Go commentators have one set of jokes. Yeah, instead of the Rocket Grunt dropping the lift key in the Gen 1 games and like, oh no, I dropped the lift key. You actually, like, control Pikachu for a little bit here, just to grab it. And, something Among Us venting. We're gonna swap the order of our Pokemon here, and I'm also gonna heal Nidoking because it's at slightly lower HP than I want it to be. So I'll make sure that both Rhyhorn and Nidoking are healthy going into this fight. The other reason why I wanted Raticate on Route 7 or 8 is that it would help push the Rhyhorn that I caught at level 24 to be level 25 for this next fight. The way that damage is calculated, and I've like alluded to this before, and Chansey have shown up and have thrown my explanation off canter. The damage formula works in such a way that certain level thresholds deal more damage than others, and those are levels that end in 0, 3, 5, and 8. So because my Rhyhorn is level 25 now, as opposed to level 24, even if they had the same attack stat, a level 25 Rhyhorn would do more damage than a level 24 Rhyhorn on average. So it's very good that Rhyhorn ended up hitting level 25 for this fight specifically. So the way this plays out, and you'll see that, like, starting since probably Lavender Tower rival fight, the level discrepancy here is pretty big. Like, we have a level 25 Rhyhorn and a level 28 Nidoking. This Arbok and Weezing are level 32 each. So the way that we handle this is that we use Drill Warren, which is a pretty high power ground move, and then we start pumping X attacks into Rhyhorn, hoping for the one-hit KO, which we do get. This is very good. Sometimes that's a range, but getting the KO on Arbok is absolutely fantastic. And we don't really have to worry about healing Rhyhorn at all from now on, because this is the only fight that we use it for in Pikachu. So we just keep pumping X attacks into Rhyhorn, and that's fine. Drill Run is only like 90% accurate, 95% accurate, which is why I switched to Stomp here in case Poison Jab didn't kill. But a 3-turn fight for Jesse and James 2 is absolutely fantastic, and we take that every day of the week. So this is the first of a gauntlet of 3 fights that we're doing here. We're going to swap Pika right back because we need it for the next 2 fights over Rhyhorn. Rhyhorn's done its job. We're not healing it. We're not using it pretty much ever again. Sorry, Rhyhorn. We've got better options available to us at this point. What nature am I? Lonely. Okay, so this fight goes as normal. If we were minus speed, the Golbat that Archer has here would actually outspeed us, but because it does not, we're totally fine. I'll just do the normal strat. You can headbutt to try to fish for a flinch here. That can get a little dicey if your special defense is bad, because Sludge Bomb is a special move. I don't need to heal Nido, right? I'll throw a potion on it for the funny HP. Oh, never mind, it's gonna level. I'll still throw a potion on it though. Yeah, Yeah, this Golbat outspeeds Pikachu if you are a minus speed nature. So you'd have to adjust your fight accordingly. Which is a little annoying if the Golbat gets like an air slash off on Pikachu and you have to heal before the next fight. You want to try to minimize your healing here as much as possible, because you'll have a free heal coming up in a couple of minutes. We're going to step back into Lavender Tower, and there's a heal pad there if you're familiar with the Gen 1 games on like floor 4? 3, 4, somewhere around there. I think it's floor 4. Alright, this is like one of the last two major fights that we need to use with Pikachu, and then Pikachu will take a nice long rest in the box. This Persian is not the issue. It can be a little bit scary if like it decides to go for slash crit on Pikachu, but typically you're going to just set up on the first turn against the Persian. Take out a Nidoking is perfect. And we're just gonna lay it into this Persian with a +6 Zippy Zap. I haven't mentioned this yet. Zippy Zap is a +2 priority move, which means it is faster than things like Quick Attack and Sucker Punch. And the other secondary effect of it is that it always crits. This is what we need the +6 for. This level 35 Rhyhorn dies to +6 Double Kick Helping Hand, which is basically as many attack modifiers that you can give to Pikachu as you can at this point. Oh my gosh. Oh, this Pikachu is so cracked. It's always on the, like, the funny runs that you get the best Pokemon. 78 attack on Pikachu and 72 special attack. I mentioned this at the beginning of the run, that this Pikachu is a lonely nature, which is plus attack and minus defense, and it has a mischievous characteristic, which means that it rolls into special attack 3 out of 8 times, which is something. I caught a Graveler, right? Wait, did I catch Graveler? I don't think I caught Graveler this run. No, I caught Graveler. That was the first thing that I caught. I'll take a quick peek at my box in a little bit. Updating my catch tracker is something that I typically do, but I tend to get sidetracked if I talk a whole lot. It's fine. I'll look at the box. We're going to be doing a little bit of party management here anyway. Rhyhorn has done... Thanks, Sandy, for the Kaylee audio clip. We're going to go into our box. We're actually going to grab Growlithe. I did not catch Growler. Okay. That is good to know. Put you over you, and you over you, and we're going to keep the Nidoking. Mark the Growlithe because we're going to ride that a little bit later. Luring for Tower is a scam, so we're just going to fly. Lures will typically spawn Pokemon more often, but the issue with Lavender Tower is that there's just not a lot of room to navigate in, and as a result, there's just not a lot of areas that Pokemon can spawn into. Every area has a cap of how many Pokemon that can spawn, and I'm pretty sure that for Lavender Tower, it's like max 3 per floor, or something like that. This is like the early surge, late surge discourse of Pokemon Let's Go runners. Like, do you lure for tower or do you not lure for tower? Is luring for tower a scam? Who knows? Okay, so I will unmark Graveler, which actually means that my catch count is now odd. Thank you for the reminder, Sandy. This means I pull Zubat back out. So we're pulling Zubat back out of the box. Yeah, this is like another, like a really niche scenario where like you have a Pokemon that you can evolve and you don't necessarily want to evolve it. I was way too slow there. I'm gonna take that safe. You can pass that spinner if you have like perfect movement. Yeah, like Zubat, I don't want to evolve it if I don't have to, just because of the overhead that it has with learning 2 moves. But in this scenario, it actually evens out my catch count, and we typically want to see an even catch count going into the end game in like 99.9% of scenarios. This is the reason why we don't have to heal. This heal pad restores our Pokemon to full. Sometimes that heal pad triggers twice, and we do not know why. This is a video game. Stuff happens. I'm gonna take this time to hydrate because I've actually been talking for a long time. I normally do not talk this much during my streams, so everybody just remember to hydrate. So we grabbed 5 Ultra Balls from Sophia. This is the usual 3 stack of Ultra Balls that you'll use to supplement that. I'm gonna grab this Hyper Potion for safety because I remember that I'm like at 4 Super Potions, which is not great. Hopefully I don't have to use more than 1 on this fight, but the more Super Potions that I have for the late game, the better. Yeah, so if I played this cutscene through, this would be like the whole like Cubone, Marowak, feels. Nah, May has not been doing a lot of cassette beasts recently, but that is something that she'll like always have in her repertoire. I think she was doing Pokemon Typing Adventure. Okay, no Ghastly. That was the last floor that I could have seen the Ghastly in, which means that we are down 2 Pokemon. However, we still have 2, like, 1-stage evolutions to go. So I'm still feeling pretty confident about my endgame catches. Alright, last fight that we're using Pikachu for, and arguably one of the scariest, especially if you're on Eevee. I don't know how Eevee runners do this. Like, it literally says in Eshi's notes, do not get unlucky. Here, we have a Growlithe. It is level 17. It will not do anything this fight except pump 1 X special attack into Pikachu, and, well, you know the rest. Wait, okay. That was terrifying. I was not expecting the Poison Jab to go into Pikachu. Normally, the Poison Jab goes straight into Growlithe. Sometimes you can get really unlucky and have them basically double up into Pikachu, and there's like nothing you can do about that. Good point, Sandy. I am minus defense. Poison Jab is a physical move, which means that it's likely for Arbok to basically go up against Pika in that form. I think this is guaranteed. With 72. Yeah, 100% guaranteed. Nice. Doubles battles are interesting. The way that the way that the AI targets is kind of random to start. So say like it was Pika and Nidoking against Arbok. It's a kind of a coin flip on which Pokemon Arbok targets. So there's a 50-50 chance that it targets Pika, 50-50 chance that it targets Nidoking, and then after it makes that selection, it will choose a move to use based off of either whether the AI wants to do like speed control or a status move, or it'll pick the highest effective move power against that Pokemon. This comes into play a little bit later with certain fights. I'll probably go safe strats, just to demonstrate that, which means that we're going to be Bingusing soon. Alright, I'm just going to take a quick peek. We're actually not that far behind PB. I'm actually kind of surprised. Alright, so no Ghastly here. I do want to party manage a little bit. I do need to bring back that Zubat that I mentioned earlier. So we're gonna put that over that, do that, evolve the Growlithe here. So Growlithe fainted here is good, because we're gonna use it as a ride Pokemon. It's much faster than Rhyhorn, and we have another catching section coming up. And fainted Pokemon don't get any experience. And because it's level 17, and the Pokemon that we're going to be catching are level 39-ish, that just means that if Arcanine were alive at this point, it would gain so much experience from catches. It's the reason that we boxed Rhyhorn and put Growlithe in its place. So even though Arcanine is fainted, we can still use that as a ride Pokemon, which is interesting. If you were to interact with a fainted Pokemon by pressing A or an interact button, it would say something like, oh no, Arcanine's about to fall over. But we try not to do that because that's just like time loss. There are certain scenarios where you're trying to like interact with an object or trying to initiate dialogue with an NPC, and you're accidentally just a little too far away, and then you're just a little sad. Yeah, exactly. When fainted Pokemon serve as HM friends and use Cut, Surf, Strength, etc. for us. Yeah, absolutely not, Trib. This is Snorlax. Snorlax is in our way. Like in the original games, you use the Poke Flute that you get from Mr. Pokemon to wake it up. But we just run away from it, because it is a slow catch. Snorlax is one of the Pokemon in the overworld that you need to battle before you can catch. There's not many of them. It's like Snorlax, the legendary birds, Mewtwo. I want to say that's it. I don't run AOP. But just due to the battle factor, and Snorlax also has a pretty awful catch rate, we don't even bother with it and we just run. Alright, here, we want to see 3 things for this specific run. We want to see this. A Doduo. So glad that it spawned right on top of me, and I actually needed it. The other 2 things that we need are Psyduck and Ponyta. Ponyta is going to be our ride for the rest of the run, assuming that we can find one. Shout out to Sandy, who managed to finish their race today without catching a Ponyta at all, and just used Arcanine for the rest of it. I do have strats for Arcanine in the case that like Ponyta just never shows, but it's really slow. Please just catch Ponyta and don't reduce yourself to getting Arcanine, please. Please and thank you. Yeah, it was one of the catch trackers of all time. Oh, Pony. Alright. I did mention earlier that Pidgey is a very versatile catch, because you can use Pidgey and Pidgeotto whenever, like, you see fit. I caught a Pidgey on Route 2, very, very early on. Which means that it's not viable to evolve them to Pidgeotto. If I see a Pidgeotto here, I could opt to catch that. There's the gold. So see here, from 24 to 25 learns Leech Life, it's going to evolve, and then I think it learns like Bite, Air Slash, Crunch, one of those 3 moves. I never remember. I always just hit Don't Learn. I think it was a useful Tower Keybone, if I remember hearing the commentary correctly. Yeah, so it tries to learn Crunch, we say no. And then we move on. Ponyta going straight to the box is a little interesting. I have to keep in mind how much experience I could possibly get on it, it's very likely that I will be forced to rare candy this Ponyta into a Rapidash. Just due to the way that my current catch count is looking. Okay, I'm not gonna get the silver raspberries that the Rapidash is currently standing on. Alright, we'll leave. That's fine. Like I said before, trainer vision is not a thing. All of the trainers here have like one tile vision. So you saw me pass that the spinner at the top, very, very close to her. Just like doesn't matter. I don't know, Sandy. We call that God gaming. You truly are a God gamer. Alright, how are we looking here? So we've got Pony in the box. We've got Jojo in the party. We could catch Pidgeotto. It does require... Actually, I don't know if that evolves. Pidgey into Pidgeot is... I think Pidgey into Pidgeot is different than what I'm thinking of, so I'm pretty sure that I can catch Pidgeotto and take Pidgeot if I see it on the grassy patch. Yeah, shoutouts to Sandy also for setting the avalanche of, like, don't play on OBS preview into motion, which happened, like, yesterday, pretty much. Alright. So we have Sea-Skim now. This is our Surf equivalent, more or less. We still have one more large catching section to go. So I'm gonna lure here. And we're gonna fly over to Pallet Town. Because we're gonna surf south. Why is English so hard at 10:30 at night? Surf south of Pallet Town. And this is finally where we're gonna catch our main for the rest of the run. But first... Hi, Shiny Rattata. I would catch you for the bit. You know, it's a really good thing that I'm going safe strats because that is a 998 star. Can somebody remind me what the lowest combat power value is for a star? Would somebody please, like, look that up? 998 is very, very low. Combat power is just like a cumulative stat total. I think I have to go for this, yeah? Yeah. It's a cumulative, like, running total of all of the star stats, basically. And even though, like, we joke that combat power is a lie, a really low number like that is not a good sign of the potential of the star. So I'm really glad that I turned this into a commentary video. Despite, like, the really, really good Pika, this star cannot do anything on its own in the late game. Not a thing. I'm actually going to... No, go away. Tentacle are really aggro and they like to chase you. Sure. I didn't actually need to hold the lure there. All I need to do now is catch Grimer. I was just more baffled by the fact that there's, like, Tentacle following me everywhere. Did Edda also have, like... Nope. Goodbye, Magikarp. Did Edda also have, like, a really bad star? This star is gonna taunt me. 1057. Okay, like, whatever. Whatever. So I noticed that when I caught the Tentacle, that my Cubone is like a hair's breadth from evolving. So I'm actually gonna wait to do the menu until after I catch this Grimer. That way I can deposit the Marowak and then just have a really solid party for the remainder of the run. Alright, so my endgame party is now set. It's going to be Starmie, Rapidash, Dodrio, Tentacruel, and Muck. Dojo is going to evolve to Dodrio Guaranteed, which is good for later purposes. And we've got Marowak here. I just had to make sure that was local recording real quick. I could also download the Twitch VOD, but that would kind of suck and be an extra step. Marowak also learns Sword Stance on evolution, which is why it's like the lower priority out of the 3 force level evolutions. I don't have a repel, so I'm just going to do my menu now. Gonna go into the party and set up for basically the rest of the run. Cool. Mark Ponyta because we're gonna ride that. And we're just gonna see how bad this star is. Not so good indeed. Yeah, this is Lapras strats 100%. I'm gonna hydrate while this evolution's going on. This is bad. Thankfully, like, especially due to the Let's Go tournament that occurred last year as well as the ongoing one this year, there have been a lot of new strats developed to just get you through the run safely. So even if you have the worst star on the planet, Exhibit B, this one, you can still make it through to the end game just fine with like almost like no risk at all. Alright, so let's see what we got here. 109 special attack. I don't think I've seen that since like I started running this game. I think that's the absolute lowest the special attack can be. It might be 108. But yeah, unlike our starter Pikachu or Eevee, which has 31 IVs guaranteed in every single stat, the same does not apply to wild Pokemon. This Starmie probably has like 0 to 1 IVs in special attack, even though it is plus special attack due to us synchronizing Modest with Madame Celadon. That's all it has going for it. Its speed is good though, like it'll outspeed basically everything that you need it to. But that's the only good thing that I can say about it. But yeah, as you can see here, Electrode is level 45. Head is also like a killer of runs, because Thunderbolt on Electrode into Starmie can just like, if you get crit, you're just kind of done. Everybody hates Ted. Ted probably also hates Ted. We're gonna Super Potion here, because notably, I checked the speed, it is 120 speed on this star. The fastest thing that Blaine has... Fair. Therapy is a good thing. Everybody should consider therapy as like a good outlet, like a healthy outlet. What was I saying? Rapidash. Blaine has a Rapidash that has 118 speed? 117 speed. And you outspeed at 118. Wait, did I just say 118 twice? Rapidash has 117 speed, and you need 118 speed to outspeed it. That is way too many times that I've said speed. So we heal there. We could also take the bed heal there if we needed it. If you interact with the bed by that other pedestal, you heal your entire party to full. But we grab the secret key here. That is the prerequisite for entering Blaine's gym. And we finally, after... what is it? Like an hour and 5, enter our third gym. Like, the key thing with Pokemon speedruns is if we can do gyms out of order to make things faster, we absolutely will. Alright, time for Edda quiz time. Just need to answer the correct answers to every question. The order of this, like, the optimal order here is first, second, 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 any. The fourth question has 3 options, and you can either choose the second or the third option. I like going for the third because I like doing up inputs better. And like this last question, you can pick any of these answers, and it's fine. All of them are applicable to Blaine. If you fail any of these answers, you have to battle an optional. Which is time loss, but you get to see Pikachu make a really, really funny face. Might have put that in one of my collages from a race last year. Alright, say hi to Magmar. And say hi to Starmie's gym battle debut. All that we have to do here is set up one X special attack. Usually you have to heal Confusion. That's what the Pewter Crunchies and the Shaler Sable are for. They're effectively the equivalents of full heals. The Shaler Sable, I think, is a reference to Gen 6. And like one of the, like the Shaler Mansion or whatever it is. I didn't play XY all too much. And then the Pewter Crunchies also function as a full heal. We only bought Antidotes and Awakenings in the Pewter Shop. And those are mostly for things like Nugget Bridge, like if you get poisoned by either the Sandshrew Poison Sting or Coughing Smog or things like that. And then the Awakenings are for things like in Mount Moon, like Hypnosis from Drowsy, or in Victory Road, Hypnosis from Hypno, Lovely Kiss. Or all of them. Yeah, shoutouts to Triv, who somehow managed to get poisoned by like 4 things in one split. In a practice race, when you only have 3 antidotes to work with, it's very unlikely that you get hit by all 4, but something hashtag by Triv and you switch. Yeah, the Jesse and James Copping can poison you. The Oddish on Rival 2 can poison you, the Sandshrew on Nugget Bridge can poison you, and then the Coughing from the Team Rocket Grunt can poison you. Alright, done with Blaine. We are at 46 caught. I think I'm probably a minute behind PB at this point. Yeah, a minute, if not like 2. I'll peek. Yeah, a minute sounds about right. Alright, but now for the Gym Rush phase. I'm gonna go back and take care of 2 gyms that we missed. One being Lieutenant Surge and the other being Erica. This is also what happens if you mash A too quickly. I was like a pixel away from the cutscene to mash, and oops. Just saying hi to Rapidash to manip a crit for later. We've kept this gym leader dude waiting for so long. This is the Archer 2 manip. Oh boy. I am gonna have fun explaining Archer 2 when we get there. In the original Red and Blue games, you have to like figure out like which switches are in which trash can. It's the same every time for this game, thankfully, so you don't have to like save, reset. Yeah, can manip. I hit it. Let's go, commentators have one set of jokes. Interestingly enough, like, they decided to like make a blue and a red can, and neither of them are the correct cans. So like, Game Freak, what are you doing? Yeah, this next section is just really easy to get through. We just spam Scald and Psychic to just clear out the gym badges that we've missed. We do need all 8 gym badges to enter the Pokemon League and to enter Victory Road. There is still that whole, like, Route 22, 23? I don't know what route it is. But, like, all the badge checks, basically. There's no way to skip them, unfortunately. If we could, we would. But a skip has not been found yet. The Trainer Vision that is 25 pixels long that I mentioned earlier, that is increased to, I believe, 75 pixels for the badge checks. So while sometimes you can get your model to be at like a little bit past them, but they'll still catch you. So we haven't figured out a way to skip those yet. But when Sandy eventually does, it will be a good day. Map movement is hard. Different from... I run Scarlet and Violet a lot, and I'm used to, like, 360 map movement instead of, like, orthogonal map movement. It's weird adjusting from game to game sometimes. Alright. This is the DMCA portion of the run. Which one of my audio clips would you like me to spam? Also, if you talk to that gym guard, she'll ask you for a cute Pokemon. Any Pokemon is cute. Thank you for the Zubat in plain daylight. In the middle of this gym. I just noted... I don't know how this thought never occurred to me before. Oh my gosh. Y'all are just doing it yourselves. Alright, cool. Thanks. Thanks for letting me just move freely. It just occurred to me that there's no, like... I don't think there's a single instance where it's night. It's, like, always daytime in the Pokemon Let's Go universe. Which, like, day and night cycles weren't a thing until Gen 2. I also have, like, not played this game casually enough to determine whether or not that's true. Anyway, the epitome of sleepy lesbians, Erica. Happy Pride Month. Also shoutouts to Pokemon control decks that use Erica's invitation. I'm also Eevee. I do not know why I decided to do this late, but here I am. I mean, I'm 2 hours in. I'm committed to the bit. And by the bit, I mean committed to commenting this video out. I have always wanted to make a commentary video. I just, like, never found the time. And by never found the time, I mean, like, never set aside the time to do it. So, shoutouts to, I'm forgetting who it was earlier in chat. That was just asking a bunch of questions, because that just kind of launched me into this whole commentary mode. Alright, so we're done with the gym rush. Neat little tech that Etchy found out, like, a month or two back. If you hold, like, left and back, I'm going to switch Dodrio over here, do a little bit of menuing here. I'm going to actually potion, because I want to save my supers, and I have the potions to spare for it, and the time to spare. If you move back just a little bit underneath this awning, the Sky Dash, like, fly replacement, basically, that's not what I want to do. Map, fly, here. That's all I need to do, right? Yeah. So, normally you would float up into the sky, but because you're underneath the awning of that gym, you actually can't... Nice Kadabra! Because you're underneath the awning of that gym, the animation doesn't play, and you save like a second or two. Congratulations, Grizzly, I think. Yay. I'm sorry. Yay for eepiness. So the reason why I switched Dodrio to slot 2 there is because we are going to come up against one of the few Pokemon that Starmie cannot actually handle with its Psychic, Water, and Electric coverage. It is a Grass type. Grass Psychic, notably, which is why it resists Psychic. Hello Blue, and Hello Blue's Executor. There's a couple ways that you can handle the fight. The most consistent way is having Dodrio in slot 2, because a +2 Drill Peck from Dodrio will always kill the Executor. Other scenarios, if you don't have a Dodrio, Rapidash can also Fire Blast, but if you're familiar with Pokemon Coliseum, Fire Blast is an 85% chance to hit. And then my personal favorite that I introduced to the Let's Go community last year is using Magmar in an exceptionally niche scenario. Magmar is good if you don't have Dodrio and you don't want to risk a Fire Blast on Blue. If you catch a Magmar, so, okay, I will also, like, re-explain myself because I explained this the last time that I caught Magmar. I have lied to all of you about Magmar strats. Magmar does not actually have to be lured. There are certain conditions that you have to consider, but Magmar does not have to be lured to use it. Level 42 Magmar will not have Flamethrower, so you can use +2 Fire Punch with it. A level 44 Magmar will have Flamethrower. However, I would not use any Magmar that is level 41 or below. It was just a whole lot easier to explain that Magmar can use Fire Punch and or Flamethrower. So, just clearing the air on that right now. I'm sorry for your headache, Grizzly. I hope that you have enough acetaminophen for your headache needs. Alright, I'm gonna snooze this because this is Archer 2. Archer 2 is overall the most hated fight of this entire speedrun. And the reason for that is shown right here. You are in a multi-battle with Trace, your rival, and you're reliant on Trace's Cubone of all things to help you through the fight. And also, for no reason whatsoever, every turn takes like 15 seconds to... Oh no. Every turn takes 15 seconds or so to actually like process. This is the second worst outcome of this fight. And this is why I wanted to keep super potions around. So, this fight can operate in many ways. The ideal situation is that you target down the muck, followed by targeting down the right side of the... So basically all of Archer's Pokemon. Self-destruct here is not bad, especially if Cubone clicks Bone Marang on the Raticate and it kills, which is totally fine. Paralysis into, like, T-Bolt into Paralysis on Starmie is probably the worst thing that you could ever ask for. Not only does T-Bolt does a massive amount of damage to you, Paralysis makes it so that you do not outspeed this Golbat. 7 or 8 with 2 turns. Oh gosh. Nice flinch, Cubone. Thankfully, Starmie appears to be powering through pretty well. We can tank a Dark Pulse from the Weezing, assuming that we actually land a hit through Paralysis. Okay. Honestly, not bad. The Paralysis made it a little bit scarier than it actually was. The other threat that was actually taken out on a single turn is the Raticate. The Raticate knows Sucker Punch, and it really likes to do that against Starmie. And Sucker Punch, being a Dark-type move, is super effective. And you can only take so many turns of Sucker Punch and T-Bolt before your Starmie just falls over. So, Electrode pressing Self-Destruct there was really, really helpful at the time that it happened. So despite the Paralysis, that was actually a really good Archer. We take anything that's like 4 turns or below. You can see a 3-turn Archer, but that's very rare. It requires Electrode to go Boom on turn 1 and Muck to not protect. And then for Cubone to do everything right. But yeah, that was probably, given the situation, that was the best Archer too that I could have asked for, despite the T-Bolt Paralysis. But yeah, Archer can just troll you, it can just keep spamming T-Bolt on you, you can get stuck in a heal loop. T-Pat, in his race, like, ran out of super potions, basically, and had to do, like, a switch strat in order to conserve HP on Starmie. Out of all of the Jesse and James fights, this is the easiest to deal with, because we are so over-leveled. Yeah, we're back to being level 47 versus Weezing and Arbok 36. So Psychic will take it out. The only annoying thing that can happen is Weezing does know Thunderbolt. It could Thunderbolt into the Drodrio, but sometimes it likes to Thunderbolt into the Starmie. And if Paralysis happens on the Starmie, then you're just really annoyed at the game. But we do have one more super that's left over, so that's fine. Okay, so Muck leveled up. I have Tentacool in my party right now, right? I definitely have Tentacool in my party. That's our 47th Pokemon. Tentacool should be our 48th. And then we get 2 freebies later on that are always marked as planned. Lapras and Porygon in Saffron City. Alright, last little bit of plot here. Time to beat up Giovanni 2. Pretty straightforward fight. All you have to do is set up 1 X special attack. It can get a little dicey for the next battle if Persian decides to go for Slash instead. And then you have to consider how high your HP is for battling Sabrina, who's going to be the next gym leader. Honestly, this is really good ad timing. We'll be done with the Geo fight, and then I'll just be running around Saffron for a little bit. Yeah, there's Fake Out and there's Tentacool, so we're good. Did I take a screenshot of my 47th? 112 special attack, oh no. It doesn't even have like good defense. Its HP is awful too. It's only got 116 HP at 47. This is certainly one of the stars of all time. But we can make it work. So there's Tentacruel. Alright, how are we doing compared to BB? So a minute and like 10 seconds behind. Cool. Yeah, this should be 303, like high 303, low 304 pace. Yeah, current PB is a 302.22. Since moving from OBS Preview to Monitor, I have definitely seen like 3-minute pace, sub 3-minute pace. It's like wild how much like 0.2 of a second worth of latency can make a difference. Take this as a lesson to never play off of OBS Preview. Did I say minute? I meant hour. Sub 3-minute is like Pokemon Red Blue any percent like save corruption or something. Yeah, sub 3-hour pace. Alright, doing some housekeeping here. We do need one more rare candy to get Starmie to the level that it needs to be for the rest of the run. So that's this one right here. And conveniently, Lapras is also over here. Lapras will come in handy much later. Shoutouts to Sandy for being the first person to think about using Lapras as an alternate safe Pokemon for Pikachu. In the Elite Four section, Eevee gets a little bit of a free pass because the rival has a Pikachu in Eevee as opposed to a Jolteon in Pikachu version. And Raichu has much lower special defense than Jolteon has. So, like, the primary difference in the endgame is that Eevee can afford to skip, I think, like, up to 2 turns between the final rival fight and the champ fight. Yeah, that's also really cool, too, that Eevee runners have gotten it, because it's very convenient. Like if it eats something from Lance. Let me focus on the shop real quick. We'll do the safe shop with full heals. This is just basically the last shop for the rest of the game. Just in case we get ratioed by Caroline. We have $50 left over. Don't spend it all in one place. Yeah, so the main difference in endgame is that Jolteon is especially defensively bulkier and is faster than Raichu. So on the final, like, actual rival fight, depending on how good your star is, you can outspeed, I believe outspeed Raichu naturally, and then on the final fight against champion rival, you can afford to set up 1 less X special attack than Pikachu normally does. Pikachu will normally need to go to a +6 battle stage in order to KO Jolteon with a Psychic. However, Eevee can go to +4 instead and still achieve similar results. Like, but all in all, like, I think, like, top end, we've now determined that Eevee's, like, slightly ahead of Pika. But, like, in actuality, like, both versions will produce similar end times. If anything, it's like by seconds. Also, look at the burglar that's like... I don't remember who it was that pointed this out, but the burglar that's like in the center of the screen by Sabrina, he's just having a good time. Alright, so for Sabrina, it really depends on the way that the fight plays out. Usually, it's just set up 2 X specials, hit an X speed, and go. Normally, you will see light screen turn 1, which is the typical fight. So in this scenario, you just kind of need to stall out light screen up until the point where you can KO Alakazam outright. With this Star's special attack, I almost wonder... Okay, good. That did well more than half. A little worried with the special attack, just because sometimes if you have really bad special attack, you won't 2-hit the Mr. Mime, and you might have to go for Hydro Pump. But light screen wears off here, and we're faster than Alakazam now, and it can't hit us with anything. And Slowbro is the first Pokemon that we actually have to use Thunderbolt on. It doesn't have anything that can kill us outright, I'm pretty sure, but, like... It's a tanky... What is Slowpoke? I never thought about this, but, like, what is a Slowpoke? It's like a water sloth. Oh, that's so bad. It's such a bad special attack stat. Not gonna worry about it. I'm actually gonna save my Elixir until after Koga. This is something that I used to do, and more recently I have utilized the Elixir before here just to save a bag menu. Yeah, we're seeing some funny ranges this run, Trev. And by funny ranges, I mean, haha, 2C everything. Let's do this here. This is not the correct way to do this, but whatever. It's been a while since I did like that specific ordering of the menu. So we're done with catches now, so we're jumping everything now. We need to Rare Candy Star one more time. Let's see how bad our special attack actually. Oh no. 117. 117 is real bad. That's an 8 and 16 with the Venom out the skull. That's so bad. Alright. Whatever. This is why I'm saving the Elixir, because Koga's Gym is another high point of variance in the run. All of the Pokemon in this gym know both Toxic and Protect. It's almost as if they like ripped that from like, I don't know, 2013 VGC. I don't know VGC. Sandy can probably speak to more about that. But Koga's Gym is just very annoying. You can waste a lot of your Psychics in this gym. It's never been a VGC strat? Okay. Something, single stall tactics then. Oh, I'm so glad that I have a tracker here because... yeah. What do you mean, what in tarnation, Headbop? Also, hello? Somehow this run has turned into a commentary video. The peak was really good too. It was lonely, mischievous, but the star is awful. It's absolutely awful. 997 CP or something? 998? It's bad. It's very bad. Yeah, so Muck using Protect there. We set up an X special because we can't KO the Muck otherwise here against Kaden. Yeah, it's so bad. Like, even if my early game was so much better, I hit an optional by playing Moon. I hit an optional I never hit. It's the hiker spinner after the Sandshrew trainer. I never hit that hiker. So yeah, ideally we just don't see any protects from Koga. But more likely than not, we'll see a couple of them. I don't know why the AI decides to use it. I don't know what the decision-making is behind that, but we'll set up an X special attack and we'll see how many psychics we use. What's the commentary video for? Just in case like I want to submit this to like marathons or something. I don't have a good commentary video for like any of my speedruns, so like I figure might as well start now, I guess. There's also like somebody who popped into chat earlier and I was like answering all of their questions and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make this into a commentary video. So I like the game and I would like to run this at some point for things, so why the heck not? So Wheezing, using Protect there, Venomoth also using Protect. This is why I saved my Elixir for after Koga's Gym. Because this star is bad, I need to Psychic every single thing on Koga, sans this Golbat. Golbat I can just press Thunderbolt and be okay on. Pretty sure that's fine. But Koga is just the gym of like sadness and time loss for speedrunners. And this monkey just like have to Psychic here. Nice, one Protect for every Pokemon. I love it here. Rarely will you see Weezing go for Explosion. If your defense and HP are really bad, you might see Explosion, which saves a turn due to Weezing taking itself out, and also possibly saving even more turns due to the AI maybe seeing that they have a kill on your Starmie, and they will opt to use their offensive moves as opposed to using Protect all the time. I don't know, Pokemon, like, decision-making is weird. Shoutouts to Shelter Life Dew on Cloth with Flamigo. Don't know why that's a thing. Alright, getting strong push here, or pushy push if you like alliterations. And then we just have one last gym to go. I do need to Elixir to remember to Elixir here. It's over here. This part of the run's a little bit of a breather. Just like in the original games, the Viridian Gym does not open until you have beaten all other 7 gyms. In this game, there's also a cutscene that's associated with it. So, you have to sit through that, yay. It also tells you about Mega Evolutions. And you actually get a Mega Bracelet from Professor Oak, or Blue, I think? I think it's Blue that gives you the Mega Bracelet. Which is foreshadowing to a later fight. There's some really cool alt mains that use megas. I think yeah, I ran alt main Venusaur at one point. I never submitted it, but Mega Venusaur is like pretty cool. You get to use Sledge Bomb and like Pedal Dance and things like that. In one of the really meme category extensions called Bootleg Ash, where you try to replicate the journey of Ash in the anime throughout the speedrun. You use Charizard, both Mega Charizard X and Y, depending on your attack ranges and things like that, and how much experience you have. I've done Bootleg Ash like twice. You lose count of catching like 29 Tauros after like number 6. And you just rely on the catch chain tracker to do the work for you. Alright, no intro to Geo's gym. We just go straight in. This, gosh, I feel real bad for Curtis earlier when he wiped to Geo and like didn't know the correct path to go through this. So we talked to this trainer from the back because if you were to take this gym as you normally like quote unquote should, you have to end up going like a long way around. But if we talk to him from the back like this, after the next trainer, we can actually just take a shortcut. And just like cut out like 3 trainers or something. So because we talked to him from the back, he won't move up. And that will be very useful in just a little bit. I did say I'm doing safe strats, so we bring out the second controller for Sammy. Get ratioed by that tile. That's the first time I've gotten ratioed by that tile in a long time. My Starmie's special attack is nowhere close to 130. This Nidoking is very scary. It has Mega Horn, which is like a 120 base power bug move, and bug is super effective against Psychic. Risky strats will just have you Hydro Pump Nidoking. Hydro Pump is a 80% chance to hit. With my star, this is also like a 12 and 16 range, funnily enough. Also, you can move the second controller around on the tiles and like nothing ever matters. Nothing really matters with the second controller. They just put it in there for your little sibling to take care of, or for you to do speedruns with. So because we talked to the trainer from the backside, we can access the rotating panel and just go directly to the last trainer here. We picked this trainer over the one on the bottom that I skipped because the one on the bottom is a Sand Slash, and Sand Slash happens to know Protect. I just realized I totally did like risky shopping. I like forgot to cut out the special defense, I'm pretty sure. That's fine. We'll just have them as a placeholder. It's fine. Yeah, I just bought them out of habit, because I'm just so used to PB attempts. Normally, the one controller fight of this would have you set up an X defense, X special attack, and then Scald this Dugtrio. Instead, what I'm going to do is just go straight for the kill with the Scald plus X special attack. In the ideal situation, Rapidash actually dies to this Earthquake, which is exactly what happens. Because you're riding around on Rapidash a whole lot, movement with a Pokemon, including a Pokemon that is your ride Pokemon, accrues friendship at a certain rate. And as I mentioned before, one of the facets of friendship is that once you reach a certain threshold, your Pokemon has a chance to live on 1 HP if it would take a fatal hit. We actually want Rapidash to die here so we can just input with the first controller. It's just a lot faster just input with one controller than it is to input with 2 controllers. We'll have to revive Rapidash a little bit later for the next fight that's coming up. 120 special attack. This is so bad. I cannot... Yeah. I've said this time and time again, this start is bad. But this is the safe way to get through Giovanni. We've tried to make safe routes such that it avoids things like crits and things like that. Yeah, oh, 120, that's a good... That would be a fantastic special attack set to have seen 4 levels ago. You can't see it, but I'm shaking my head right now. Alright, since I'm reviving Rapidash, I'm just going to do some healing in this menu as well. It's a little bit more time efficient to do all of your healing in this menu. Cool. Alright, Rapidash is alive and well, ready to get used for the next fight as an X special attack and X speed provider. Thankfully, my star actually has pretty decent speed. If my star's speed was 127 or lower, I would risk eating sand from this Pidgeot. Sand attack is not something that you want to see because it lowers your accuracy and makes the fight not go how you want. So this Pidgeot no sand attack, we just want to KO this outright. So we're 2-seeing this fight, T-Bolt plus a +2 special attack. Well, with an X special attack, we'll kill this Pidgeot. Notably, because of the way that the AI chooses targets, I need to make sure that I X speed on this turn. Where's my X speed? It's just okay, cool. Because I don't know whether Marowak or Jolteon is coming out next. If Marowak comes out next, that's fine, and I didn't actually have to X speed. But because Jolteon comes out, and notably, it isn't until Generation 8 that Game Freak introduced please X special attack, thank you. Introduced dynamic speed, which is saying that if you increase your speed on a turn, it will take effect on that turn. That does not apply in this game. If I were to have X speeded on this turn instead of the previous turn, that Jolteon would have just pressed Thunder on me, and I would have been very sad. And I forgot to split, but doesn't matter because we don't care about our splits anyway this run. Yeah, so another facet of not only AI choosing moves, but also which Pokemon that it sends out. It looks at both of your Pokemon and tries to figure out the best effective move against either of them. So say that I had Starmie and Golduck, for example. Vileplume has, I don't know if it has Solar Beam here. I'm pretty sure it has Petal Dance, but I don't know if it has Solar Beam. Solar Beam, oddly enough, is treated as a 200 base power move in this game, which is wild. But the next best effective move would be Thunder. And because it would see Thunder is really good against both Starmie and Golduck, it'll be oh, okay, I'm sending out Jolteon instead of Marowak. So the two-controller partner in certain scenarios is really, really important. And that's going to be very apparent in the Elite Four for the strat that I'm going to be using. Alright. Done with the badge checks, and now we just need to make it through Victory Road. There are 1, 2... 3 trainers that we fight in here. 5 if you miss a skip. Wait, no. Did I say 3? I meant 4. 4 trainers that you fight in here. 5 if you miss a skip. 0 if you're doing the Mount Skip version of the speedrun. I honestly think this might be... Yeah, I think this is double X spec Scald territory. The start. Yeah, we're just gonna do the safe thing on here. The really safe strat here. Normally you want to press Hydro Pump on this Kangaskhan and try to take it out in one hit. My star is not good enough to secure a good range on that, So we're just gonna double Scald. Because if I like miss the pump, then Rapidash is like basically dead at that point. So this is the general safe version of the fight that you'll even see like many people do in PB attempts. Just because that Kangaskhan not only has Crunch, which is a super effective dark move against Starmie, but also has Sucker Punch. And even though Crunch and Sucker Punch have the same base power of 80, that was safer than it looked, trust me. You know, sometimes like Kangaskhan will just crunch you, you might get a defense drop, and then if you miss the Hydro Pump, you're done. So like most of the time you'll see people going for the 2 controller strat there. Dang, I missed it by like a pixel. Never mind, I missed it by 2 pixels. Usually you can talk to that juggler there, but it's all good. Sucker Punch is 70 starting in Gen 1? Huh. I did not know that. Thank you for the information. This Hypno can be annoying. It likes to go for Hypnosis sometimes. And there's a couple of variant strats that you can do, just mostly to save a little bit of time. I haven't mentioned this at all yet because it hasn't come up, but Let's Go has a quote-unquote feature that's we call status lag. If there's a status in play on any given fight, it essentially becomes like you can kind of get like a mini Archer turn of sorts, where the game tries to like process what's happening, and then after you do your input, there's like a little bit of lag time. So we try to just either like outright KO the Hypno with Hydro Pump if your special attack's good enough. Thunderbolt is a 10% chance to paralyze, while Scald is a 30% chance to burn. So if we can, we want to try and Thunderbolt that. It's a very like small optimization, but it's like one of those like other cases where you just play the numbers and hope that it works out in your favor. Nothing like run threatening, but it can save you a little bit of grief and time. This is going to be the last trainer skip in the game that's coming up. After I push the block into the hole. Really wish you didn't have to click A every single time. We're going to try and abuse that whole like 25 pixel line vision here and skip this trainer coming up. Alexa is really bad if you hit her. But you can just kind of skirt across the bottom path of that path and you're totally fine. Alright, third trainer here. Caroline. Everybody, it's not like Caroline. This Jinx is a little annoying. I don't even think I'm guaranteed to KO this Jinx at my special attack. Because this Jinx can just put you to sleep. And then the Jinx has Ice Beam. That is a crit. Please hit and please KO. That's fine. The Arcanine doesn't have extreme speed, right? I do have to heal up because the next fight can definitely KO me from this range. Yeah, classic Naomi. Jinx can just completely ruin your day and there's nothing that you can do about it. Whether it's Lovely Kiss putting you to sleep, Hydro Pump missing the Jinx, Hydro Pump missing the range on Jinx if your start is bad, Ice Beam freezing you. You can heal Freeze with a full heal. You can also heal Freeze with just pressing Scald. Scald is one of those one of the moves similar to I think Flamethrower. I want to say Glitter Blitz is one of them. There are certain moves that will thaw your Pokemon when used. So if you get frozen there, you just press Scald twice and you're generally okay. Welcome to 37 seconds of pushing a boulder 20 times. Yes, I have counted this, and yes, I have timed this. Because when you get to this point in the run, you have nothing better to do, essentially. Alright, I will heal because I said that I need to heal. However, things that I say are not necessarily things that I do. Thank you, short-term memory. This was the first instance of, like... I tried to go for it there. I forget who it was. Was it, like, C-Rule that figured this out? This was the first instance of, like, somebody accidentally skipping a trainer that they shouldn't have. It's, like, one of those scenarios where, like, everybody knows that you're supposed to talk to trainers in Pokemon games because it's faster to talk to trainers than have them walk up and see you. But, like, in this scenario, somebody ended up just, like, walking forward, expecting to get hit by this trainer's line of vision, and they just, like, went up the ladder instead. And that's how we found out about mount skips. Best skips are the ones that are found by accident. Alright, normally if I were doing PB strats, I would grab the full restore that's directly south of my location. Because I know I'm going for safe strats, I can skip it. Agatha is a fight where you will almost always be status with paralysis, and if that happens, you need that full restore. But with the strats that I am doing, I do not need to do that. It's actually been a long time since I've done safe strats. Hopefully I remember all of this properly. I do have this written in my notes, so should be fine. Alright. E4 time. We're going to put away Rapidash because we opens Lapras E4.txt. True. So we're going to put away Rapidash, but we're also going to grab Lapras instead. We'll start me to full. We don't need Lapras for the first two fights. However, will be used on the remaining 3. So it's just very convenient to heal and then switch out the Pokemon in the same menu. I also forgot to split for Victory Road. But like I said, where we're going, we don't need splits. Lorelei is the first member of the Elite Four. I'm going to set up to +6 before I start spamming Thunderbolts and such. You can go to +4 if your star has good enough special attack. At certain thresholds, you have a range on the Lapras, and then you also might need to Hydro Pump the Jinx, which is an 80% chance. You just kind of figure out, like, what's higher. What's a higher chance? Is it the Scald range or is it the Hydro Pump range? And you take whichever one is better at that point. 57 H. I press Scald. That's fine. This is fine. I will definitely be healing. For whatever reason, I thought that I had already KO'd the Lapras because I was talking about the Jinx at that point. Don't worry about it. Lapras can't hurt you. And the only thing that has a priority move on this fight is the Dugong. It knows both Ice Shard and Aqua Jet, and even at 15 HP, it can't kill you with either of them. I think it can max roll like 14 against minimum defense. Yeah, Lorelei and Bruno are pretty safe fights overall. Lorelei definitely safer than Bruno. I will 100% be healing now because of that mishap. I had the option to not heal, at 57 HP. It would risk a certain priority move that has become sort of a meme in the Let's Go community. But with Lapras in my party, the Onyx that Bruno has, that he leads with, is Stealth Rock. So there's like a chance that he'll opt for that status move instead, pressing Earthquake. Notably, the final Pokemon in Bruno's roster is Hitmonlee, and if you're at very low HP, Hitmonlee does have the priority move Feint, which it likes to use if, I don't know, you press Protect. Feint is one of the few moves that can hit through Protect. I think it's the only move outside of, like, Unseen Fist or Shifu. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know Pokemon moves other than the ones I use in speedruns. Level 52 here. Alright, 125. Thank goodness for Lapras strats. But yeah, for whatever reason, like, only a certain select group of people I've ever seen Feint. You can usually get away with like single-digit HP on this fight after an Onyx Earthquake and be totally fine, because Hitmonlee will opt to use like a higher power move. Again, Pokemon AI is weird. It's so weird. Alright, I didn't take any damage on this fight. And even if I did, I would not have to heal due to me doing safe strats. I think I need to... I definitely need to Psychic the second Gengar. What did I just see for my special attack? Let me take a look. I saw 125, which means I can Scald the level 53 Gengar. Alright, so this is where safe strats come into play. So we're just going to set up with Lapras here into the Starmie. We're just going to Psychic down the line for the most part. The reason why we need Lapras to be here is for the same reason that if you have like a water Pokemon on Rival 5, Jolteon is likely to come out, because this Weezing knows Thunderbolts, and it sees that it's like the best option, pretty much, against both Starmie and Lapras, so we need to bait Weezing out before the Gengar. It's also for the same reason we need Air to Breathe, yes, for a good life. Alright, are you level 53? Are you level... yeah, you're level 53, I can Scald you. The only reason why I would want to Scald is due to those turnarounds that I mentioned from a long time ago. You start getting them on this fight, and each of them loses you 2 seconds. So if I can do less than 2 seconds of input, we'll be good. That's not the correct move, so we're going to press back and select the correct move. I can do whatever here, honestly. It's just the last turn that I need to Ether. And Ether or Mist prevents stat drops, not to be confused with Haze, which resets all stats. That would be very bad to use in this scenario. I'm also just going to make sure that I click Psychic there, because if I do not, we're going to have a bad time. Okay, cool. I think this is... we go in here? Yeah. With Lapras, we just go straight into the next 2 fights. You would have thought that I like watched enough endgame strats with Lapras this tournament season to remember them, but nah. Admittedly, I probably should have saved if I wanted to like complete here, because things can go a little wrong if I get crit, but we're just going to simply not get crit and things will be fine. Okay, that's whatever. Psychic, that's actually decent. I'm gonna do some math in a little bit. But for Lance, same rules apply here. We're just gonna set up with Lapras as we take things down one at a time. Aerodactyl, Psychic, and then set up our last X special attack. And then after this, I'm gonna heal Lapras a little bit in order to try and manipulate the next fight to go well. I'm gonna T-Bolt this just to be safe. I'm pretty sure this is fine, but I don't have the ranges offhand to know. So I'm looking at a different version of notes right now. Alright, what's our special attack? 130. I do not want to know what that range is on Dragonite. If you are 140 special attack, a +6 Psychic is guaranteed against Dragonite. However, even though Lapras is like a really slow fish, it also happens to know a priority move in Ice Shard. And that, coupled with Psychic, is enough to take down Dragonite no matter what. Nice crit, by the way. Yeah, yada yada yada. Professor Oak shows up. Oh, there's one last fight that you need to do. I have no idea how battle RNG works, so like you might be right. I will save here. There is one possible way this fight can go south, and that is if Starmie gets crit on turn 1. So I will save here just to ensure that we finish the run. Oh no, you lived on... Oh my gosh. Yeah, with this star stats, I don't trust this to take any crit whatsoever. So, final fight. Champion 1. Leads with Pidgeot. A lot of trainers have their ace Pokemon for last. This gen got smart and put the champions... XPs are over here. Please click. Pidgeot is his best Pokemon because Mega Pidgeot is a menace. It has killed many runs with crit air slashes. Okay. But this is the normal fight. I was really hoping for Air Slash into Lapras followed by Quick Attack. That way I could do something similar with Giovanni 3 and just input things with one controller. But this is... yeah, this is safe. We just make sure that we set up to +6 on Vileplume. And then that's the fight. We'll just Ice Shard the Jolteon for good measure. And then they immediately forgot that lesson in Gen 8. True. Yeah, this is just like, I don't know, the one-off thing for Champ. Yeah, that is champion. Normally you would 1C this for PB attempts, and then just pray to Arceus that Mega Pidgeot does not crit you during like your 7 setup turns. But this is a much safer way to approach the fight. And one that got developed last year. Really cool. Also very solid 305. But yeah, really good game. Like, if you look at my cash tracker, like, this will change from run to run. Like, I could have gotten a Pidgeon Route 17. I could have... Did I have Double Moonstone? I didn't have Double Moonstone this run. Could have gotten a whole lot of different Pokemon, things like that. This run's really cool. I like it a lot. It's never the same between playthroughs, and always keeps you on your toes thinking, what's the best way that I can play any given scenario? I guess I can check that off the list of getting a Let's Go commentary video out of the way. Sheep, I absolutely do not do this commentary video on an OBS preview. I've learned. Yeah, for running my mouth for 3 hours, 305 is not bad at all. Thank you all for the GGs. This is fun. Yeah, this literally all started because somebody hops into chat and started asking questions about the game. And I was like, you know what? Why not just turn this into a commentary video? Yeah, that is Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. At some point, I might learn Eevee for things like, you know, donation incentives, things like that for marathons, but I will say that I will probably be running Eevee sometime soon. And I'll just let that be a little bit of foreshadowing. Probably not in the way that you expect, though. Yeah, overall, really fun game. Like, this game was probably marketed towards, like, children, people who played Pokemon Go, and such like that, but it's a really, really intricate and well-developed speedrun that's gotten so many, like, it's attracted so many speedrunners. It's got, like, tournaments now. This is the second year that we've been running the Let's Go tournament, and it's been fantastic to watch. And, like, over time, it's just evolved into something really, really cool. Like, between moving to 2-player controller strats, like, figuring out, like, the run used to use Kabutops. Like, you'd save the Dome Fossil for Kabutops and use that instead of Starmie. There's been lots of really, really small optimizations that have added up to people getting sub 3 over the past, like, I don't remember when Edgy's sub 3 was, but, like, Randall and Saiyan have both done 259s on Pika. Or Eevee, I don't remember if Randall's is on Pika or Eevee. Either way, it's been really impressive to see this game evolve. And this whole Let's Go tournament has kind of, like, reignited my fire to rerun this game. Also, the fact that I now play on a monitor and not OBS preview anymore has helped. Like, all the menus feel so much faster and more responsive, and I can stick roll to my heart's content and not have to worry about getting owned by latency. There's something new about the speedrun every single time, and that's what has probably made this my favorite speedrun. I know, right, Sandy? It's so good. Just being able to go, like, up left or down right. Plot twist, the monitor is OBS preview in a trench coat. It's both OBS preview and, like, a windowed and a full screen projector. Oh, so stick rolling. So because of the way that the control stick handles, it's not, like, delineated control pad movements. Yeah, you can, like, do, like, a roll at a 90-degree angle and have it count as 2 inputs, basically. So, like, start from the left and, like, go up will move you, like, 1 left, 1 up, essentially. Oh, nice, Sandy. Looking forward to that. Oh, yeah, I can definitely... I can show Trev. But let me just go ahead and end off the recording there first.